The first holiday after a heart attack. Welcome back to Stronger After the Storm. Last time we talked about how friendships can sometimes change after a major health scare. Today I want to talk about something many people start thinking about again after recovery. A holiday. Because the first holiday after a heart attack can feel very different from the ones that came before. The excitement and the nerves. At first, there is excitement, the thought of getting away, seeing somewhere different, breaking out of the routine of recovery. But alongside that excitement, there can also be nerves. Questions start appearing in your mind. Will I have enough energy? What if something happens while I'm away? Am I pushing things too soon? These are completely normal thoughts, because after a heart attack, your relationship with your body has changed. You're learning a new pace. One of the biggest lessons I noticed about travelling again came from my own experience. I had originally planned a big adventure to celebrate my 50th birthday. The idea was to take my motorbike from Scotland across Europe, down through Germany, into Czechoslovakia, up into Russia, back through the Ukraine, then Poland, and eventually back home to Scotland. It was going to be a proper adventure, but things changed. I had my heart attack during my 50th year, and suddenly that kind of journey felt far too big to take on so soon. At that point, I had spent the previous 6 or 7 months dealing with the fear that another heart attack might happen, so I had to rethink things. A smaller celebration. Instead of a huge trip, I decided to celebrate my 50th birthday quietly with my family. Nothing dramatic, just being together at home, in my cottage, with my close family and my granddaughters. And that in itself felt really special. But the day after my birthday, I still wanted a little adventure. So I packed the motorbike and decided to head north through Scotland. Nothing extreme, just a ride up the west coast and across the Highlands, and eventually up to the Isle of Skye. The journey north. I set off in the late afternoon, the day after my birthday. My plan was simple. Ride up through central Scotland, stop somewhere overnight, camp, then continue on to Skye the following day. While I was stopping at a service station and grabbing a burger, I received a message from my eldest daughter. She asked if she and her young daughter, who was only 3 at the time, could come and join me on Skye. It was a surprise, but it was also exciting. Part of me wondered if she simply wanted a road trip and a camping trip of her own little adventure. Another part of me wondered if she was quietly keeping an eye on me, just in case anything happened. Either way, it felt reassuring. We agreed to meet the next day in Glencoe. Skye and the Cuillins. The following day, I rode through central Scotland and met them in Glencoe. From there, we travelled on together to the Isle of Skye. We set up camp beneath the magnificent Cuillin Mountains. If you've ever seen them, you'll know how dramatic and beautiful they are. That evening, we had a lovely night at the campsite. We shared a bottle of wine by the campfire, while my wee granddaughter danced away as the sun set over the mountains. It's a memory I'll never forget. The next day, we toured around the island together. Eventually, we ended up staying at a campsite near Dunvegan Castle. It was a simple trip, nothing grand, just riding, camping and spending special time with family. A quiet realisation. Looking back, I think having my daughter and granddaughter there changed something for me. Watching my granddaughter dancing around beneath the mountains, spending time together, it took my focus away from the fear that had been sitting in the background for months. Instead of constantly wondering whether my heart was going to hold out, I was simply enjoying where I was. And that felt like a huge step forward. So the first holiday. That short trip became my first real holiday after my heart attack. When I returned home, I remember thinking how good it felt to have done it. Nothing dramatic, no big expedition across Europe, just a few days travelling around Scotland on the motorbike. But it reminded me of something important. Life doesn't have to stop. Sometimes it just needs to move at a slightly different pace. A closing reflection. The first holiday after a heart attack is rarely about distance. It's about confidence, about rediscovering that you can still explore, you can still travel, and still enjoy life again, just in your own way. And often, the smaller adventures are the ones that matter most. Next time on Stronger After the Storm, we're going to talk about something many people begin to notice during recovery. The small wins. The quiet signs that you're actually moving forward, even when progress may feel slow. This is Stronger After the Storm. I'm Dougie, and thank you for listening.